French owners of Peugeot announce £1.9 billion deal to buy car manufacturer Vauxhall, putting thousands of British jobs at risk. The French owner of Peugeot and Citroen today confirmed a £1.9 billion deal to buy Vauxhall, sparking fresh fears about the future of thousands of British jobs. The Paris-based PSA Group has agreed to buy the European arm of American General Motors, which includes Vauxhall in the UK and German-based Opel. The deal follows weeks of talks and fears of the potential loss of thousands of jobs in the UK, although PSA says it is committed to both brands. Vauxhall employs 1,830 staff at its factory in Ellesmere Port in Cheshire, home of the Astra, and a further 1,530 at the plant in Luton, where they make the Vivaro van. Last week PSA boss Carlos Tavares, who built a reputation as a ruthless cost-cutter after he slashed thousands of jobs at Peugeot and Citroen, said he would make savings of around £1.5 billion in quite a speedy way. The agreement will be officially announced at a press conference in Paris today. It will create Europe's second-largest car maker behind Volkswagen and bring brands including Peugeot, Citroen, DS, Opel, and Vauxhall under the same roof. But unions have urged the government to seek assurances for British workers. The row is shaping up to be the biggest industrial headache for Theresa May since she became Prime Minister. Downing Street said Mrs. May had been assured in a phone call with General Motors chief Mary Barra that Vauxhall would remain a British brand. Len McCluskey, General Secretary of Unite, said thousands of Vauxhall workers at Ellesmere Port and Luton had endured a nerve-wracking few weeks. While initial discussions with the PSA Group have been relatively positive, our priority now is to ensure a long-term future for our plants and the tens of thousands of workers depending on them, he said. Luton South's Labour MP Gavin Shucker said, "Glad to see the uncertainty over the PSA/GM deal is now over. Our UK plants are among the most efficient of any in the new company. They deserve a bright future. Now government needs to play its part, delivering a Brexit deal that keeps Vauxhall building in the UK." Labour MP for Ellesmere Port and Neston Justin Matters tweeted, "We have a commitment from Peugeot until 2020/21. The work starts now on protecting jobs beyond that." Alison McGovern, Labour MP for Wirral South in Merseyside, said on Twitter, "We need certainty ASAP. And we need to see government commitment to automotive production in Brexit plans. Working with Justin Matters and the Unite Union to get clarity on future Brexit risk shouldn't threaten automotive work." GM's European business has a total of 38,000 staff, including more than 19,000 in Germany over 12 factories. It is feared that PSA, which is 14% owned by the French government, would rather shut Vauxhall's plants in Britain than Opel factories in Europe. Former Business Secretary Sir Vince Cable warned Brexit could make it harder to save the Vauxhall jobs. The Liberal Democrat, who backed the Remain cause, said there is a serious question mark about the Vauxhall plants in the medium term. He added that German Chancellor Angela Merkel's government will put pressure on the French to protect Vauxhall's sister company Opel's plants in her country. He told BBC Radio 4's Today programme, "There is one big doubt, which is the future of the customs union, the single market arrangements. Car components have to go backwards and forwards across frontiers and they will require tariffs and checks. Vauxhall particularly is exposed to this. About 80% of its exports are to the European Union, most of its components are. If you are a hard-headed car executive looking at the competitiveness of Britain versus German plants, Britain I'm afraid is going to slip down the ranking in future. There will be a European political dimension to the future of the businesses," he said. "The Germans are going to lobby very hard to protect their own plants, the German government bringing pressure to bear on France, those two countries staying within the European Union. It tips the balance against the UK, regrettably. But Brexit could free the UK from state aid rules, allowing greater taxpayer-funded support for the plants," he acknowledged. Mike Hawes, chief executive of the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders, SMMT, said, "We are hopeful that this deal will provide a positive future for the plants at Luton and Ellesmere Port and the wider supply chain given their inherent advantages." The outlook for vehicle production remains positive with investment commitments made over the past few years still delivering growth. British ministers are now under pressure to offer PSA incentives to keep Ellesmere Port and Luton open, just as it did with Nissan to convince the Japanese car maker to increase its investment in Sunderland. Following talks with the PSA boss last week, a Downing Street spokesman said, "The Prime Minister and Mr. Tavares discussed the importance the UK attaches to Vauxhall's plants at Ellesmere Port and Luton and their shared desire to protect and promote the jobs it supports and what Mr. Tavares referred to as the iconic Vauxhall brand within the wider group." The announcement said the transaction will allow substantial economies of scale and synergies in purchasing, manufacturing, and research and development. A NO10 spokesman said today that the PM had spoken to Ms. Barra by telephone yesterday. The Prime Minister set out to Ms. Barra the importance of the Vauxhall brand to the UK and reiterated her desire for the jobs at both plants to be secured for the long term, he said. Ms. Barra made clear that Vauxhall would remain a British brand and that the deal would recognise and respect all agreements regarding the workforce. Both the Prime Minister and Ms. Barra expressed their confidence that the deal had the potential to strengthen the Vauxhall brand and allow for further growth, supported by the government's industrial strategy and the continued strength of the automotive sector in the UK. PSA, together with BNP Paribas, will also acquire all of GM Financial's European operations through a newly formed 50% joint venture. PSA will become the second largest automotive company in Europe, with a 17% market share. "We are proud to join forces with Opel/Vauxhall and are deeply committed to continuing to develop this great company and accelerating its turnaround," said Carlos Tavares, chairman of the managing board of PSA. "We respect all that Opel/Vauxhall's talented people have achieved as well as the company's fine brands and strong heritage. We intend to manage PSA and Opel/Vauxhall capitalizing on their respective brand identities. Having already created together winning products for the European market, we know that Opel/Vauxhall is the right partner. We see this as a natural extension of our relationship and are eager to take it to the next level. We are confident that the Opel/Vauxhall turnaround will significantly accelerate with our support, while respecting the commitments made by GM to the Opel/Vauxhall employees."